Interesting game here on Friday. They return a pretty good nucleus of players off a team that won a bunch of games, and there's a winning culture there in place. I was just upstairs going through notes, and I think I saw where they've won an average of 24 games over the last 4 years or 5 years or something like that. So that's a lot of winning, and they lost a couple guards off last year's team that were real impactful for them. They return a young man by the name of Gene, who I'm pretty familiar with from the South Florida area, who is a ferocious competitor. And they had a young man who started for them, hurt himself 5 games into the season, ended up redshirting, so he's back. They got the McCree, the young man. He's a fifth-year senior. When he plays the game, he plays at great pace, great tempo, really knows how to score. Their center's a young man that started at the University of Miami, didn't work out. Highly recruited kid out of high school in the Texas area. Sherman, just a load, great hands, can shoot the basketball, but knows how to score around the rim. So they've got some new parts, but like I said, they've got, just like us, we've got new parts. But they've got a winning culture in place, and they've got returning players that have been a part of that culture for a little while.
Franco, did you know Eric from his Miami days under Jim down there? And how much do you see maybe his personal style with what Mike White had before he went to Florida?
Yeah, it's hard to. I met Eric actually. He was out of the business. He was working. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was a video equipment company. It's the video stuff, Sports Tech or something. And that's the company that we were using at Kansas State. And he came in and spent 2 days with us to show us that whole, I don't know how to word it, that how to operate the system, for lack of better words. And him and Andy Astley were pretty tight. And then the following year, he got back in the business, back with Jim, and now they're at Miami. They did an unbelievable job at Miami. You don't have a feel for how an assistant coach, when he gets the opportunity, what kind of brand they're going to play. So I know Eric works. I know was a relentless recruiter. Obviously, being around Larinaga for as long as he's been around winning. I never watched La Tech play a lot when Mike was there, but I know when I did see them, they pressed a lot. They don't press nearly as much as they did with Mike. They do resemble kind of style of play that Coach Larinaga's teams play with. The 4 out, 1 in, a lot of ball screens. So it seems that his thumbprint's there. They do press a little bit, but it's not that same all over the place pressure Mike used to use. They press. It's a more conservative press. They're not trying to trap you and turn you over. They're trying to slow you down or get you to make a bad decision because that's what presses do. They try to make you. They try to make all 5 guys on your team make decisions, and so they're hoping that you throw the ball to the wrong guy, and that guy's forced to make a decision.
You talked about Davidson White being back in the fold after being injured last year, and you getting that win over Ohio State earlier in the year when they were both in there. Seeing that and seeing what they do the rest of the year, and then also knowing it's the first game, how hard is it to game plan for trying to guess what they're going to do?
It's hard. It's hard, specifically because I can't remember their names, but number 0 and number 10, they were so dominant with the basketball. McCree's he's a scorer. He's wired to score, so he was always on go. But those other guys, kind of depended on those two guards. I want to say it was Stringer, maybe. I can't remember. I'd be lying to you if I tried to say their names. It's number 10 and number 0 from last year's team. I think they're going to be a little different, because those two guys dominated the ball. So they're going to have different guys making plays. A couple are freshmen. I know who they are. One of them was Eric Cobb's teammate in high school, and it's pretty good, pretty good. A little smaller in size, but tough as nails, and he's a good player, point guard. And, like I said, Gene is the same way. He is ultra competitive, and his high school coach and I are actually pretty good friends. And so it's these early season games are a lot more stressful than later in the season, and the mystery part of it is what makes it more stressful. I'm big on preparation. I'm big on no surprises, and when you're walking into these games early in the year, you just have no feel for what this team's going to be like. So you're kind of pulling at straws a little bit. You're going on gut. 6 months ago that gut was a little bigger, so maybe it was a little better. But it's kind of pulling at straws a little bit early in the year, and that's unsettling for me because of the way I'm wired. That's a little unsettling.
Frank, staying with that, with three games in 5 days, can you really? Of course, you can game plan for this one, but the next two, can you really game plan in that one day beforehand and try to switch it up, or is it just go win the game and based on your best natural talent?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, that's when we put the schedule together. That had a lot to do with it. You got to throw stuff at your team. You got to challenge the mettle of your team. You got to figure out. I know how Sindarius is going to react. I know how Dwayne's going to react. We've been through it for 100 years together. I understand. I know how they're going to learn in that quick turn. I know how much attention they're going to pay. I know what information they're going to need. But the other guys, I don't. We need to find that out. So that's why you do this. You got to put them on the spot. It's good for them. It forces. Pressure is a good thing. You learn about people when they're on it. When there's no pressure, everyone's in a good mood, everyone gets along, everybody high fives each other. When there's pressure and there's the responsibility of owning up to your job, not pressure of losing, that's irrelevant. We don't even think about it. It's the pressure that everyone has to do their job because we have a responsibility to each other. When you put that kind of pressure on people, you learn about people, and we needed that, so we did that, and we're going to find out a lot about our young guys and how they learn and how do they react, how do they embrace success, how do they embrace lack of success. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with that, but all that's part of it, and so this is why you do it. You got to learn about your team.
Does Zendarius have to play a larger role at point guard while Hassani learns, or do you throw him out there in these first few games expecting him to be more of the backup point guard?
Sin's going to play everywhere. I mean, he'll play some power forward if need be. Sin's just I haven't had a guy that completely understands everything that we do since I had Jacob Pullen at K-State, the way Sin understands. He knows every defensive concept from all 5 spots. I don't have to practice him at the 5. If I told him to play center, he'd understand everything he's supposed to do at the center spot. He's got his arms completely around our program and what we're about. That's why he's playing as well as he is. That's why I think he's going to have the kind of season he's going to have. He's going to play. Having to play so much point earlier in his career forced him to learn the game as a point guard, which has allowed him to understand everything, which now allows you to play him all over the place. And when you have someone so interchangeable, it makes it hard. It makes it hard for the opponent. Makes it easier for me that we can not have to waste practice reps with certain lineups because you can put him anywhere and he understands what he needs to do.
What's the update on the health of a couple of guys that have been dealing with some injuries?
Yeah. Ceedy's actually at the doctor as we speak. I'm not optimistic that he'll play this weekend, but he's close. Who else are we talking about? Tut should be fine. Should be fine. He needed his knee drained. So that happened Monday when we were off from practice. He should be okay. Who's that? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. That was just, I'm telling you, I don't think I've been around somebody that was as nervous as him for a game my whole career. He was so nervous. And then he's running around chasing those little 5'9" guys around, and so he just cramped up. But he's fine. We're fairly healthy. We're fairly healthy. Once CD gets out there, and Corey Holden's real close to joining practice too. So we're as healthy as we've been since the year started.
Are you in a position to talk about letters of intent or anything like that that's come through today?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. It's going to be a great day for the Gamecocks. It's going to be a great week for the Gamecocks. That I do know.